Hi, my name is Angela Watson. This is a reflection on instructional design, how the copyright lesson plan meets the ASSURE model. Introduction to the ASSURE model. The ASSURE model is a 6 procedural step that assure effective instruction. Using ASSURE as an acronym, these steps are A, to analyze learners, S, state our learning objectives, S, select the methods and materials that you will be using for the lesson, U, utilizing media and materials, R, requiring learner participation, and E, evaluate student learning and revise the lesson as needed. In this presentation, I will go through each letter of the ASSURE model and demonstrate how the lesson was aligned to the model. In the first letter of the model, A, I analyzed the learners. The lesson did not specify what grade level Mrs. Stewart taught, so I designed the lesson for 5th grade students. In consideration of their cognitive and developmental levels, Mrs. Stewart opened up a class discussion based on the question of what is copyright. To accommodate diverse learning needs, I added slides, images, and infographics for visual learners. For auditory learners, the slides were narrated with explanations. And for the kinesthetic learners, an interactive team project was created for students to demonstrate understanding. To differentiate, gifted students were asked to lead the discussions. Mrs. Stewart also paired students up in heterogeneous teams based on cognitive abilities, pairing strong learners with lower level learners to help facilitate the project. For those who needed it, accommodations were provided, such as larger text and text-to-speech abilities. In the letter S of the ASSURE model, it is to state objectives. So we define the learning objectives to help students understand the copyright rules. We will recognize copyrighted material, fair use, and responsible digital practices. Our lesson activities include a step-by-step PowerPoint explanation and real-world examples of do's and don'ts of copyright rules. The next letter S of the ASSURE model is select methods, media, and materials. For our teaching methods, we use direct instruction via PowerPoint. We also did interactive questioning with class-led discussions of what is copyright. Why these materials? Well, PowerPoint was for structured visuals. Videos and photographs were for engagement, and infographics was for key concept reinforcement. For the letter U, utilize media and materials. We used age-appropriate context with simple language. We used a mix of visuals, text, and multimedia. In the lesson execution, we introduced copyright with a question. We presented key concepts with slides. I used real-life examples. I also showed do's and don'ts for clarity. This should help 5th grade students with learning exactly how to use copyright and what and where and when. For the letter R, requiring learner participation, the engagement strategies I used were to encourage student responses. We led off with a discussion before the video and after the video, and then we had students team up to create their own copyright-safe examples. Why it's important. It ensures active learning, and it applies knowledge to real-world context. For letter E of the ASSURE model, evaluate and revise. The assessment methods was students will exhibit their knowledge by working in pairs to create a 5 to 7 slide presentation that demonstrates their knowledge of copyright usage. Students will be evaluated using the rubric that is provided and can earn up to 20 points. Lesson improvement, I would gather student feedback, I would adjust the slides for clarity. In conclusion, to align with the ASSURE model, I first analyzed the learners and differentiated instruction to meet their needs. I stated the learning objective of students understanding the rules of copyright. I selected my materials needed to implement this lesson. I utilized media and technology within the lesson. I required learner participation through class discussion and team projects. And last, I evaluated student learning through a rubric created to evaluate students' slides presentations. The structured video presentation was to benefit students and encourage them to learn how to use responsible copyright practices. I hope this video demonstrates that I have used the Assure model for this copyright lesson. If I were implementing this copyright lesson in real life, I would have a Q&A and discussion. I would open the floor for student questions, and we would also discuss best practices for protecting digital content. This would reinforce the overall concept I'm trying to teach students about copyright rules.